Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christie, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy. You're in for another treat this week with Mark McFatridge. Oh my goodness, is he a wealth of knowledge? This man started out as as an accountant and then transitioned into eventually being a president and CEO of banks. And now he works with companies, well, actually, specifically CEOs all over the country to put them together into think tanks so that they can grow and become better together. He was a huge wealth of knowledge. He also is just a genuinely kind human. He has really dedicated his life to helping humans become better humans. I kind of like those kind of people. I think that there is just something special about somebody who wants to make people better and leave them better than they found them, which I think is the number one thing we should all do as leaders, for sure. And something that Mark shared with us is something that I want to talk a little more deeply about today, and that is his system for 4 E's. So the company that he started is actually called Quade, and we learned that that's quad for the 4 E's plus the E, Quade. Kind of cool, right? So the 4 E's are engagement, education, empowerment, and execution. And he said that if you want people to buy into what you're doing, if you want people to get better at what they're doing, if you want people to improve, you need to do those 4 E's. So the engagement piece, people want to be good at what they're doing. So how can you engage them in the work? How can you make sure that they understand what the expectations are, how to be good at what they're doing, how to not suck at what they're doing? That engagement piece is truly step one. Step two is education. And I love this. He talked about training his tellers on how banks make money so that they understand how their role fits in the bigger picture. Does that not just make good sense? All of us by nature are going to work harder, do better when we see where we fit in the grand scheme of things. We want to be good at what we do. Nobody wants to be a terrible anything, really. But sometimes we're forced to be because we're not given enough information to be great. So, what if we gave our employees enough information to be great? Wouldn't that be smart? Okay, third E, empowerment. So he then says, all right, you know what needs to be done in order for us to be successful. Now I trust you to go do it. Hi. All of us want to have be given enough trust to be able to do our jobs, do them well, and not be micromanaged. Power for sure. And then the last one is execution. This is, he said that he likes to exchange the word execution with accountability. This means you're actually doing something different, right? I kind of think about this as the AIM framework. You have to analyze what you're currently doing, improve on that, and then move. The execution is the move. It's the do something differently mentality. So much learning happened for me in these quick 30 minutes. But really, what I'm learning overall is if you surround yourself with people who are better than you, who know more than you do, who have had better experiences, or not even better, just different experiences than you, then you win at life. And that's really what Quade does is it puts like what did he say? Like situated people together, not like minded people. Meaning we're all CEOs, we're all doing the same types of work, and yet we're not necessarily approaching it exactly the same way. Are you surrounded by like minded people? Or are you surrounded by like situated people? I think there's a big difference. Of course, there are times when we want to be with like minded people. But if all we ever do is hang out with like minded people, when are we ever stretched to think differently? We're not. So, what are you doing right now to surround yourself with people who stretch you? I think about my friend group and my people that I genuinely enjoy spending time with. And the people that I genuinely enjoy spending time with are the people who stretch me, who make me think about things in a way I've never thought about them before. And sometimes that's because they have had a different upbringing. Sometimes it's because they have a different type of job. Sometimes it's because they're in a different phase of life than I'm in. And all of those are important for us to get better, to grow, to improve, to not settle for status quo. I don't want to settle. I know you've heard me say that before, but I want to be the best version of myself I can be today. So I've told you before that my husband and I work with newly to be married couples and help them put tools in their tool belt so that they can have successful marriages because marriage takes work, right? And one of the things that we say to our couples makes them look at us funny, but we say it every time and here's why. So we'll say to them, actually Jason's usually the one that says it and he'll say, I really hope that your wedding day is the worst day of your marriage. And they were like, like, hold on, hear us out. We want it to continue to get better and better from that day forward. But the only way that can happen is if you work at it. You have to work at marriage. You have to think strategically about how you're going to communicate with each other and what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable, and how you're going to continue to date and what you're going to do to become excellent. Well, that same fact is true in business, in life. If you're not working at something, you're going to become stagnant. And if we stop growing, then we do get stuck. And I don't want you to be stuck. I want you to continue to flourish and grow and get better. And I know that's something that I work with my team with a lot is we talk about how do you elevate your eyes and expand your mind? What can you do to think about that differently, to grow in the space, to get better? Now, I am not perfect. I am such a far cry from perfect, but I think part of what makes me effective in leadership positions is my willingness to say I'm not perfect, that I am not sure how to do something, that I am afraid, or that I am stuck. And then ask the people around me to help me get unstuck, to help me get better, to help me grow. I think about new positions, right? So I just got a new title at work and that new title has come with it some slightly shifted responsibilities, and yet a lot of it's the same as what I was doing before. And I get to approach that one of two ways. I can say, you know what? I already know how to do this. I'm good to go. Or what can I learn in this space? How can I get better? Which approach are you taking? Today, tomorrow, the next day, what approach are you taking to new experiences? Are you thinking about how you can grow and get better, or are you saying, I already know how to do this, I'm good? Because I want to be the one that's saying, I want to get better and go from there. So there's one last thing that Mark said that I feel like we all need to recognize, and that's how we have the opportunity to pocket experiences. What he meant by that was when you learn something new, you get to pocket that experience, meaning take it with you, put it in your pocket and go with it. And remember that it's there, right? Sometimes I put things in my pockets and I forget. As a matter of fact, that just happened to me the other day. I thought I had lost my name tag for work and I was so annoyed because I needed it. I couldn't find it. Well, I had stuck it in the pocket of a skirt. And then I packed the skirt because I was traveling all over the place. And when I unpacked the skirt and put it on the next time, it was like, oh, my name tag, right? These pocketed experiences need to get taken out of the pockets periodically. Now, you can also pocket the experiences that weren't so good. And I don't recommend you reach into those pockets very often, but the ones that grow you and make you better are totally worth pulling back out. Lots of little nuggets, right? And that's what productive joy is all about, is to give you those little ideas, right? Maybe the idea that you take with you today is the 4 E's. Maybe it's that you need to join an organization like Quaid so that you can be with other CEOs who are, boss babes and boss dudes. I don't know what that would be, boss boys, and are figuring things out together. Or maybe it's that you need to pocket some experiences. Maybe it's that you need to empty some of the pockets, the pocketed experiences that you have. I don't know what you're going to take with you. I just know that the goal of productive joy for me and hopefully for you is that you gain some sort of nugget of wisdom that you can actually use to improve practice. Because to me, that's the definition of productive joy, is getting better all the time and having fun along the way so that you can execute differently in the future. I so appreciate that you have taken the time to continue to listen. I am hopeful that you are sharing this with other people because they will not know it exists if you don't. And I'm also hopeful that you'll reach out to me and say, hey, Christy, I need you to cover this, or I want you to find a person who can talk about that, because I won't know if you don't ask. Today and every day, my hope for you is that you get a little shot of B12 out of this time together and that more than anything, you figure out a way to turn fun into action.